Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Clash Royale Crown Championship Global Series. My name is Final Carpet, and I am your host of the North American region. So if you missed out on last week and you haven't been keeping up, let me catch you up to speed. So this was a 5-phase tournament. Started about a month ago, actually. First phase, just over 27 million unique players playing in the 20-win challenge and app. Most of you probably did it. The idea was to get to 20 wins before you got 3 losses, and you were able to move on to phase number 2. Now, just over 8,000 players made it into phase number 2, and in each region, we separated them into their brackets, and we narrowed it down to just 16 players that moved on into phase number 3, Elimination Week. We took those players, we put them into groups, and we just cut that in half yet again. Only 8 players made it out of phase 3 into phase 4, and they joined our finalists from last season, Oxalate and C. McHugh, to get the top 10 here in phase 4, which is a double round robin, and they will play all the way through, get as many points as possible, and move on to phase 5, which is the live fall finals for North America. And they're playing for quite a lot of money. Part of the $1 million prize pool that was set aside for the competitive year of Clash Royale. $1 million, and we're going to get first place $15,000, second place $10,000, and even just making it to phase 4 alone, you win a staggering $3,500. So these players are going to make sure that they go home with a pretty penny, and they're going to, no matter what, at least go home with something that is worthwhile. But remember, this is the top 10 players, the top 10 players in North America. So if you missed out on last week, there were some really cool trends with a lot of the card usages, and we're trying to hone in on more stats this season. So if you take into account North America, Europe, and Latin America, there were a total of 121 games played in all the matches. Now, if you look at the most popular card choices, in this order, you have Miner, P.E.K.K.A, Mega Knight, and Balloon. Now, obviously, you're ignoring cycle cards and common spell cards because that would stagger all this, but those are going to be your favorite archetypes. But that doesn't take into account win rates. If you take into account win rates, then you're going to have Sparky at number 1, but to be fair, it was only in a single game, and it wasn't actually played on the deck, and it actually won. So if you really want the card that had a 100% win rate, that was Sparky. But right after that, you have Golem, and then Hog Rider and Goblin Barrel in that order of the decks that won the most. Now make sure you stay tuned, because BBXH is going to have a special guest here, and they're going to talk about what these trends mean and what they're doing to the CCG.
Into our next match, though, I know Carpet's got a special guest with him. Who you got with you, Carpet?
Thank you, BB, and no thank you, Rumham, as much as I appreciate your compliments. Not today, buddy. But while we have them in the studio, we really like to showcase them as much as we can. So I've got Trainer Luis here. We're going to ask him a few questions. So Trainer Luis, why don't you come on out? He's shown well. He might be kind of new to this competitive scene, but he's doing a grand job right now, dealing with his nerves and playing against these top dogs. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming.
Good, how you doing, man?
Doing all right. So I have to say this first of all. So when we got the pictures in from you guys, you guys made your player cards. Your picture was the best one by so far.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also thought you were like 22.
So you see me in person, I look like 27 now?
At 27, 28, give or take. Where'd you get that shirt? Why aren't you wearing it?
Actually, my girlfriend got it for me. Yeah, I didn't want to be repetitive with the shirts I was wearing, so.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I was going to wear a Lilo and Stitch one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Left it at home.
You got to make sure you be picky. So, your face hasn't been seen as much in the competitive Clash scene. So, as you were kind of becoming a new player, were there any specific people or players that you watched or looked up to, or just kind of saw their content and stuff?
Oh, totally, man. I would say that Clash with Ash has been a huge impact in my sort of progression in the competitive scene. I think he's managed to sort of create this structure in his YouTube channel that allows players that are aspiring to be pros to have access to all this high-level gameplay. And honestly, I think that most of my strategy and sort of development as a player came from that. That sort of got my foot in the door, and thanks to guys like Richard, he's a manager over at Nova, who's really supported me through every step, sort of made sure that I'm well taken care of, and thanks to those two people, I think that I've been able to get to where I am.
So I know you're not used to hearing it, but what does it feel like being in the top 10 North American players right now?
It's insane, man. Just even sitting here right now, just having this interview, I just can't believe it. I think a lot of these guys sort of, if you ask a lot of them if they thought they were going to make it, then a lot of them would say yes. But I think for me, it's kind of still a shock just sitting in the studio. But honestly, I think that if anyone was to take anything out of this, is the fact that if you learn your matchups and you work hard, you can get to exactly where I am and even do better than I'm doing.
So as far as the 5 phases, right? So we're in phase 4 now. Was there any between phase 1 and 2 and 3? So between the 20-win challenge and then the bracket play and then elimination week, which one of those was the most threatening for you?
It's definitely, okay, obviously this one's really tough because everybody that's here is incredible. But I would say that phase 3 was the previous one, yeah?
Yeah.
It was so hard. I was in a bracket with Tin2, who was undefeated most of last season, yes. Tag, who's an established beast, and then B-Rad. And so going into that group phase 3, I just didn't think I was going to make it out. But thanks to my training partner, Daniel, so shout out to Daniel, oh yeah. Thanks to him, I was able to get in some reps, and thankfully I came out victorious.
So now that you're here, has it changed your practice regimen? Does this give you motivation to continue on with Clash Royale?
I haven't been able to practice as much as I wanted to in the last week with the whole thing that happened in Puerto Rico. I'm actually I'm the captain of the Plex Chat Puerto Rican national team.
Yeah.
So I've been having to deal with, sort of that whole frenzy and kind of figure out where my players are at. So that's been sort of stressful because, and I grew up in Puerto Rico. I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
So kind of dealing with that, it's been sort of not ideal. But I would say that for the most part, I do have a lot of practice hours on my shoulders. And although I'm not saying I'm the best, I do think I have a shot at it.
So don't reveal too much, but you're going up against Colton next, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Colton as a player, and what is something you're looking forward to?
Man, Colton's a fierce competitor. You see, like, if you were like a third, kind of like watching us from a third person point of view, you would see like the difference in style, how we carry ourselves. And I think he's like I think part of it has to do with the fact that he's sort of like a seasoned competitor. This is not his first rodeo. For me, I'm still excited. So I'm still looking around. Before this, I was messing around with a little night sword and just stabbing people with it. So I'm actually glad you guys fixed it because I couldn't figure that out.
All right, well, Trainer Luis, thank you so much for talking to us. I really appreciate it. And seriously, good luck in your next match.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
So we're actually going to get to see him go against
Colton.
We'll talk to Colton a bit later, but let's just get right into it. Sweet J and Rumham.
In the studio. Trainer Luis against Music Master. Yes. So Trainer Luis obviously in studio. And Music Master playing from home in New York. Trainer Luis made a nice little trip up here, and we managed to get a little camera time with him, some interviews.
All right.
Let's take a look at Trainer Luis's background video. His interview.
Trainer Luis.
His trash talk.
But that was beautiful play by Trainer Luis there.
My name is Luis Pena. My in-game name is Trainer Luis. The reason why it's Trainer Luis is because I just thought it'd be kind of funny to just name myself after the bots in the game. So originally I was born in Venezuela. Around 4 years old is when I moved to Puerto Rico. In 6th grade, we finally moved to the United States. I would say that living in different places has definitely had an impact in my life. It's definitely made me a more sociable person. My mom had breast cancer. I can't tell you a specific memory in which I saw her suffering or in pain because I never saw that. She did such a good job at sort of protecting us from that and just keeping a strong front. My dad and my mom both completely changed my eyes. Even looking back at it retrospectively, they're both warriors. The outlook I have, it has just completely changed. It's taught me to be a lot happier. It's taught me to appreciate things a lot more, and it's taught me to do the best with what I have.
Trainer Luis 2-0s, gives him the fist pump on stage.
If I had to guess what other players think of me, I would say that they think that I'm a pretty strong log bait player, which I like because it casts a shadow over the rest of my decks that I'm good with. It makes me less predictable.
Oh, wow! The rebound!
I have, 15 decks that I'm comfortable with, and if I can help it, I will only use 5 of them because when I face somebody that thinks they have sort of a beat on me, I'm able to switch it up on them and use a different deck.
Could be something new and different. We might see a Mega Knight deck here.
Clash Royale has become an invaluable asset in helping me achieve my dreams. If I won the North American Championship, I definitely used the money to probably pay for my first year at UCLA Law School. And once I finally graduate law school, I can get to exactly what I want to do, which is help out people. And when I look back at it, I'll be able to say that it was thanks to Clash Royale, as wild as it sounds, that I was able to sort of achieve everything I wanted to.
Kill shot. And there's Trainer Luis playing on the blue side with the fist pump and the big smile. I always like when players have a great attitude, win, lose, or draw.
Look at that wink.
It's easy to smile when
I think he's winking at me. I think he's winking at me.
Oh, I'm jealous now.
So Trainer Luis actually, when he last week played against Jamonte, he likes building counter decks. But before we talk about that, let's go into the bands here. So Pump is being banned against Music Master here, and then Hog is taken away from Trainer Luis.
Now, I would say that's a targeted ban by Trainer Luis because it hits both Golem and Three Musketeers, Music Master's like 2 most popular decks. But truth be told, Trainer Luis has banned that against everybody, I think. It's almost every single person he's banned the Elixir Collector, so it's a very popular ban, at least from him strategically, maybe because it allows him that those 5 decks that he wants to play, taking out some of the uncomfortable matchups.
Yeah, and then if you look at last week, like in areas where he lost was because of deck matchup. He